All the Stitch people who are here and interested in our fabulous trip to Israel. The reason we decided Israel last year when we were asking people where they really wanted to go, Israel was kind of one of the top of the list. So we said, okay, we hear you, and we're creating this fabulous trip to Israel. This is a picture of Tel Aviv at night. And Tel Aviv is just one of these incredible cities like New York and Paris and London. It never stops, and it's very exciting. And probably one of the food capitals of the world nowadays. So here's Tel Aviv in the daytime, looking at from the beautiful Mediterranean, looking north, and you can see all the development and even some of the new stuff. There's just a tremendous amount of building that's going on in Tel Aviv nowadays. Everybody wants to be there. And there I am, on the Mediterranean. I love Israel. There's a guy fishing, and he is in Yafo, or some people call it Jaffa, which is the old part of, was kind of before Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv kind of grew out of Yafo. So you can see how it looks in the old windy steps and the old buildings. One of the things that we're going to do is we're going to be having a cooking class. An Israeli Arab cuisine cooking class in Yafo. So it's going to be very exciting. We're going to learn to cook Arab Israeli food, and that'll be dinner that night. This is a pastry called a kanaf. It's absolutely delicious. It needs to be served warm, which is why it's on these trays. And this is an old Arab bakery in Yafo that's been there forever and just absolutely delicious. This is a typical scene. I think this is like the United Nations. This is Israelis and Arab Israelis playing backgammon. And this is in Old Jaffa. Shashuka is a dish. It's kind of it's egg with a tomato sauce and stuff on it. And Dr. Shashuka is like a institution in Yafo, and everybody goes there and you get shashuka. Typical scene in Old Yafo of the market. I love this, all this old stuff, and the guy on his cell phone. Yes, they do surf in the Mediterranean, but this was winter time and it was a little bit of a storm. I mean, that's about the biggest wave you're going to get there. Tel Aviv is full of art and culture. This is the Tel Aviv Museum of Art. It was just incredible building. This is inside. This is actually projected on the wall of the cafe, and it's almost like an Escher thing with the people, walking back and forth. It was really just beautiful. This is the Performing Arts Center, and what I really love about it, I mean, there's some other buildings on other sides, the theater and stuff. That's the Symphony Hall, but they really made it open space, and people who live in the area come and enjoy it. I mean, you can see there's bicycles and baby things. In fact, I even did a close-up. I mean, this happens every night. So not only is it a symphony that people can go and enjoy, but people in the area get to use it, in everyday life. So it's really, really a wonderful open public space. And there's the sun setting against Old Yafo, and young new families taking a nice stroll in the evening. We're going to leave Tel Aviv and we're going to head north up the coast, and we're going to stop in Caesarea, which was an old Roman port. It's just ruins now, but there was a major fishing and transportation and stuff that came there. These are some of the ruins from the palaces that were there. I love this sculpture. It's kind of like the chariot, because this they would have chariot races along here, and so you can kind of imagine what the chariots would go up, and you're looking kind of. Tel Aviv is south, so you're kind of looking south towards Tel Aviv. Akko is we've headed north towards Haifa, and Akko was where the what is it? The Crusaders. The Crusaders came. the Ottomans were there and the Crusaders were there, and that's kind of where I guess the Europeans met the Mediterraneans. This is, I guess, kind of Jonah in the belly of the whale. Unfortunately, I don't have some other pictures from inside Akko, but it was an old ancient more before medieval, but Turkish and Christian kind of architecture. This is a picture from the Baha'i Garden in Haifa. There are the most gorgeous gardens, and we will be going there and taking a look at that. And then from Haifa, we're going to head towards the Galilee. And this is a stop on the way. I was very moved by this place. This is a church from, I think it was, I don't think it was from the United States or something. But if you'll notice the ruins under here, this is Paul's mother's house. So when Jesus and Paul were meeting to decide who all the disciples were going to be and everything, it was at his mama's house. Mm-hmm. And so what they do in Israel in a lot of places, and I think they've started doing it in other places, you have these very precious, places, and you can't have people walking around and doing stuff. So what they did is they built the church over it, and it's got a glass floor. So you can walk over and you can look down. And I mean, when you're standing over it, I mean, the energy that you feel is just phenomenal. So it was a really, really very special place. And I don't know if you can see the sign in the corner, but it says synagogue. Well, Jesus was Jewish at that time, and this was the synagogue that he went to. So it was right next door to Paul's mom's house, and that's where they went to services. There's a town called Spot, and it is an old, it's where if you've heard of the Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism, that's where it was started. Now it's really become an artist colony, and there's just, these are like just painted all over the place. So you have this very beautiful town on top of a hillside. It kind of reminds me of San Francisco, and it faces west, so it has just the most beautiful sunsets over the hills, and it's just a very charming town, and just with beautiful pieces of art, all over the place. I mean, that's someone's garage in their door. Now we're looking from the highlands. If you're looking this way, Syria's behind you, and you're looking over the Sea of Galilee towards Tiberias. And one of the things that we're going to do besides going up to the Golan Heights is take a Jeep tour. And the day that I was there was actually too windy. It gets very windy up on the top, and it was just a little bit too dangerous to be up there, so we kind of did some of the lower stuff. But it's really fun to take a Jeep tour through all this beautiful natural vegetation. From there, we'll end up in Jerusalem, and there's the Dome of the Rock and the Wailing Wall, and this is just, part of what you'll see in the Old City. And this is just the other side of it, looking towards the Mount of Olives. A lot of people in the Jewish religion think it's very special to, when a boy or a girl is 13, they go through a ceremony, a bar mitzvah. And a lot of families will like to come to Israel and do it, in what's a very sacred spot. So you see this a lot going on.
What about straps on the arm?
If very, very Orthodox Jews have a prayer, it's called tefillin, and it's a leather thing, and it wraps around, and there's a certain symbolism about how many times it wraps, and then on their head, and there's prayers in there, and supposedly when they say the prayers, it's more meaningful or something. This is the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and I was there actually on New Year's Day, so it was really, really busy, everybody going in. One of the things that I think is really interesting is, I don't know if you can see this little ladder up here. It's this is a protected, building, and nothing can be done to it, and the facade and everything. Well, somebody took a picture in the 1800s, because we didn't have photography before that, and the ladder was there. Now, what most people suspect is the ladder was there because they were doing some repair work and a repairman forgot to take it down. Well, every time that ladder disintegrates, because it's only an old wood ladder, they have to have another one and put it back up, because it's part of the facade. The oldest picture they had the ladder there.
That's interesting.
This is a beautiful, beautiful mural of, it's just, I mean, the picture doesn't do it justice, but it's just incredible inside. And this is the slab where Jesus was laid. Just a beautiful ceiling. And this is, I think this is where he went up to heaven. So this is two photos. So you can imagine that the other part is on top of that. So then people can go in and they can say a prayer in there. So the line is very long. Outside of the church is the Arab part. The old city is divided into the Jewish quarter, the Armenian quarter, the Christian quarter, and the Arab quarter. And so when you come out of the church, you're right at where the Arab market is and everything. So you don't see those pomegranates in San Francisco. Gotta get a haircut and a shave. And this is a typical scene. I mean, you will often see, these are just two kids in the army having lunch. From Jerusalem, it's kind of, the tour is going to kind of end and go back to Tel Aviv, but we do have an extension to go to Petra in Jordan. So if you opt to go to Petra, then from Jerusalem, we'll go down south, we'll go down to the Dead Sea, we'll go down to Masada, and then we'll go to Petra, and also it'll be an overnight in Petra, and come back and then spend the time in the Wadi Rum, which is this incredible desert scenery that you're seeing right now. This is what you always see in Petra. This is actually the first building you see when you're going into Petra. You walk down some very long cave kind of thing with high walls of rocks, and then you walk in, and then when you come to the opening, you see this magnificent building. Petra, I don't know if it was the 1800s or older, was a big transportation marketing thing. So they would come with caravans of goods going from one place to another, and Petra was where they would stop. They would rest, they would get fed, they would make deals, they would sell their goods. So it's quite an amazing area. And this is called the Treasury Building. So I'm sure it was where they kept most of the important papers and most of the money. So there's some people walking through Wadi Rum. It's sunset over the Mediterranean. So it's going to be a fabulous trip. We're going to see modern, everyday Israel, and we're also going to appreciate the antiquities and the history and basically the cradle of civilization. So I hope you'll join us. March 15th to the 25th is the first part, and if you want to go on to Petra, then it'll end on March 29th. So I will be escorting this trip, so I look forward to traveling with you.